And good evening, everybody. Hello. It's time for another Hey, what's your sign? With
Hey.
Karen, Care Bear, Bard of Cards, and moi. And we're now in the season of Virgo. So happy birthdays to all the upcoming Virgos that might be in chat or even one, where you have placements. I've even learned about the word placements in the chart. So I'm getting there, Karen. I'm getting there.
You're doing great. You're doing great. I think that
uh,
Heavenly Bodies deck is like doing you
that
really
and I
good.
already have my cards separated to kind of do like a little quick, slide presentation. And I also want looking into the my ethereal tarot that works with shadow work. And I found that Vixen said that the Hermit is associated with Virgo.
Mm-hmm.
So I set my
Yeah.
card aside for
Yep.
that.
And the Magician because of the Mercury.
Mercury, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody, let's see who Nancy, a Crohn's Intuition, was here. She goes going
Oh,
to be listening on her TV. So
hi.
hello, Nancy.
Hi,
Um,
Nancy.
and Kristen Louise, how are you doing, sweetheart? How was your time off? We've missed you. It's good to see you in chat. I'm going to start my own
Hi,
sabbatical
Kristen.
after this Monday. So I hope you're feeling refreshed, my dear. And Thomas is here. Hi,
Hi,
Thomas.
Thomas.
How are
I've been thinking
you?
about you.
Oh, now I just got that song in my head. I've been thinking about you. Come on, Karen. We gotta do a music show too.
Yes, definitely.
Um,
Yes. And then
Scott is
we've got
here. Hi,
Scott.
Scott.
Hi. So
And
happy
she goes
you're
really
here.
good, very refreshed. Kristen, I'm about to start mine after my show with Nancy and Jonathan on Monday. I need a reboot, especially how's everybody handling Mercury retrograde? I don't know about y'all, but it's been a bumpy couple of weeks. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Um, Earl is
Yeah.
here. Karen's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's been
Hello, Earl.
one thing after another,
Yes.
literally.
So, do we want me to start the way we did last time, where me just kind of doing like, this is the month of Virgo, that kind of thing, and then
Yeah.
I open
I
up,
like
and then you
that.
could share everything that you've been learning. Because for people who may not know, Karen is taking a class for astrology. She's becoming an astrologer. So, any questions or about Virgo, or any of its associations, be sure to put that in the chat and we'll shoot those off to our expert right here. So,
Expert in training.
expert in training.
I
So,
learn a
yes,
lot from your questions when I can't answer them. Then I look them up later and I'm like,
and then
it's all a learning process and we could all teach each other is what I've
exactly.
learned.
I had a teacher in high school. Her name was Miss Kittleson. And if somebody was in there and asked, well, what does this word mean? She'd turn around, grab her dictionary. Here, look it up.
Yeah.
Teaching us to work, for the that just relies so that we would learn, empower ourselves by learning, and if we couldn't find an answer, then she would
Hmm.
help us find one. So,
Yeah. Being a
um,
Gemini, I naturally go for the dictionary or whatever.
yeah,
So I'm
me,
like,
it's the
I get
thesaurus
too much
lately.
in here. Yeah. Then it
Without
starts
the
to fall out.
poetry, the thesaurus is my best friend right now.
Yes, that too. Yeah, for
And
sure.
hippo.com is a great site. It has some ads, not a lot of pop-ups, but if you need to look for synonyms, antonyms,
Yes.
definitions, great website. So,
I think I've been on
um,
there. Yeah.
let's see. Kristen says my Saturn is in Virgo.
Mine
Apparently, that
too.
makes me a perfectionist, and Virgo is a perfectionist. So, great question or comment.
I have
Just
some
to get
things
us
I can
started.
say about that later.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
star
So
that. So I'll
I'm
let
going
you
to
do your
start
thing.
that. All righty. So stay tuned. So to get things off, we are in the sign of Virgo right now, and I am using the Heavenly Bodies astrology that I came across. Amy's Mystic Rose. I saw her using it one day. I'm like, oh, the artwork is beautiful, and the creator made everything herself. She's a crafter. She did crafting and took. I mean, it's a beautiful, work of love. It really is. And for Virgo, she has integrity, reverence, and service. And in
Service.
here, I love this first line. Virgo is practical and modest, yet poetic and profound. I
Mm-hmm.
love that, prophetic and profound. It's really planet Mercury, which is about thinking, learning, networking, and communication. And a butterfly, kind of like when I thought Karen was wearing on her head
I
when I
was
saw
doing
her.
this earlier.
They look like a butterfly, one of those, swallowtails with the black ones or the dark blues with the yellows on the tips. And Mercury floats freely between the earth and heavens, a messenger between worlds. And so beautifully, Virgo embodies the same energy through regularity and ritual. So for them, Virgos, they love ritual. They love things like a schedule, like a set, ritual every day of things that they do. It is organized and can be perfectionist, introverted, and quietly observant. Its people are connected to the body, in particular about food and environment, and it's linked to the Zeekist, the spirit of the times, gives it a finger on the pulse, creative flair. The Virgo shadow can be obsessive and solitary with impossibly high standards. It can be hypercritical, but more of self than others. So come on, Virgos, give yourself some self love there. And as I was telling Karen backstage, I just found out through a my Western. I know my Western signs, but I learned about my real sky and my ascending is Virgo. So as I was reading this today, things were light bulbs were going off. I'm like, okay, I can see this too in myself. And what some people, I want to share this. I love that she included this in the book. In mythology, virgin energy means whole and complete.
Mm-hmm.
And similarly, Virgo, the virgin goddess, asks you to strip away the not you layers that clog your vessel. These may be unhealthy habits, toxic relationships, or damaging thought patterns. This cleansing force comes to guide your body, mind. Whoop, I just lost it. This humble energy, wait a minute, back it up. This cleansing force comes to guide your body, mind, and spirit back to its natural state of grace. This humble energy knows the most profound way to create change through small, consistent actions, baby steps. Guys. So, what are your daily embodied rituals? Are they in support of your higher self and ultimate purpose? Service your life so you may be service to self, spirit, and others. So, reiterating self care, taking care of ourselves first, making sure we're good with ourselves and our bodies and our state of being. And I love how she put that in there. And Virgo is an earth sign. Persistence, patience, and practicality, which makes sense with the baby steps. Kind of thinking like the Knight of Pentacles, taking things very slowly, observing, keeping an
Mm-hmm.
eye on it, not making any rushing, no rushing, no quick judgments, just taking time. It is a mutable sign, surrender, fluidity, and welcoming change. And I'm still learning what mutable means. We'll have Karen explain that to us in a
Yeah,
second.
yeah. I'm gonna
It
star
is
that.
a feminine, it's a yin, and it's intuition, trust, there's patience again, spirituality, and receptivity. It belongs to the seventh house, which is about profound relationships, intimacy, and romantic partnerships. And that's what I have. And we got some people coming in. I see people.
Bill. Hey,
I
Bill.
know. I got to back up here. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
and
So we
Amanda.
have Amanda who had Amanda. Is it true? 7 hours
Garnet.
last night, girlfriend. Man, that must have been some crazy Red Bull you were drinking.
That's like a
Missy said,
telemarathon or
I
something.
know.
Yeah.
And then she did another one today. Spirit is moving Amanda.
Yeah, I told her just to take care though too.
Yeah,
Preserve
replenish.
some energy too.
Most definitely. Because I know how fun lives can be.
She might be feeling this Virgo season thing,
I think so, because we were on for
Yeah.
2.5
Being of
hours
service to others. Yeah.
on my
Yeah.
channel, then 7. I was like, damn, girlfriend, 9 hours. Wow, I'll have what she's having. No.
Right? I mean,
Uh,
yeah.
Audra Dye is here. Hello,
Hi,
Audra. And
Audra.
Garnet is here. Hello, Garnet.
Garnet. Hi.
Um, I know that Fatima came in. Hello, Fatima. The lovely lady. And give our
Blessings.
best to Odelia as well. Um, Wait a minute. Garnet, I
Blessings,
don't know what
Fatima.
that's all about.
Fatima.
um, and yes, Bill's here. Hey, Bill, what's going on? And yep,
Oh.
read for 7 hours. Yes, I'm crazy and did over a 7 hour live stream last night into this morning. Hey, I guess when the spirit moves you, along with the Red Bull, you know.
Yeah.
And Bill says, Karen, I was thinking about you this weekend. I was wondering how's Karen, and here you are.
You might have
Oh,
some intuition there, Bill.
you do,
I'll
Bill.
met you do. I'll email you. Yeah.
Yeah.
You do.
For a moment, without going into a lot of personal stuff, if we can all just get a nice big beautiful ball of energy like Miss Tarot D taught us on her channel, that beautiful ball of energy, fill it with just pink loving light, supportive light, blue healing light, and just send it to that beautiful lady right there.
Oh,
Just us
well,
all lift Karen up right
same
now.
to Heather. Same to Heather.
Things are a
Yeah.
little, because people don't realize when we're on screen, we have our smiles, we have things going on, but then when we turn off our and the shows and we turn off our screens, we all have these big lives that a lot of us don't know about. So if everyone could just take all that love that we have for Karen and just send it right to her way and uplift her. So
Thank you.
that
Thank
would be
you.
greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
And let's see, that's going to be a deep sleep after that read. Yeah, I would believe so. So I think and just really
Yeah,
quick.
I would be tuckered out for sure. Yeah. Start getting a little crazy after 2 hours.
hmm I got my ethereal deck, and the Hermit is associated with Virgo, and like Karen Salawago, so is the Magician. But we have the Hermit here. I love this deck. I just wanted to share the Hermit card,
Wow, he's
and
like a kind of a little sinister looking, but
It's
that's that
it's for
shadow
shadow
side.
work.
Yeah, I
It's
like
the
that.
deck has
Yeah.
been designed for shadow work. There's some disturbing images, but it's all about not an evil negative energy. It's about just working with the shadows, and
It's
and
not
and
always
what
pretty what you see.
exactly. And what he said too was that he wanted the dark to be shown and illuminated by the light of who we are when
Hmm.
we do our shadow work. So
Yeah. And then
it's
you get
it's a
all of those
beautiful deck.
clouds to show the
Mm-hmm.
conflict and the sorrows and yeah. But they're almost illuminated at the
And we
same
all know
time. Yeah.
the hermit's about solitude. And for
Hmm.
me, I know I'm going into my solitude phase right now. Every fall is when I start
Hi,
to when
Myra.
the temperatures chill. Hi, Moira.
Yes.
And I'm starting to see a few changes of leaves here and there. It's automatically, my energy automatically senses it, and I go right into
Hmm.
autumn mode. So
Yeah, we're
uh,
like in a recycling mode to kick off the next season.
yeah.
That's like a key word for me with mutable is it's almost like recycling.
Okay,
And
so can you explain mutable then?
yeah, well, first off, what I always say when you think of the three categories they put that in cardinal, fixed, and mutable, just think of it like a story beginning, middle, and end of a season.
Okay.
Each is a season. So, we have Aries, cardinal, the most cardinal of all of them, and then we have Taurus that comes in, they want to kind of secure and maintain. And so you're like in the middle of a season then, and then you've got like Gemini
That goes,
swirling in and
I'm
taking things
here.
and yeah, like woo, and then the summer comes. I mean, yeah, so you could think of like keywords for mutable, like think of a chameleon, that ability and flexibility and adaptability, to kind of
Mhm.
be able, to change and have that flexibility, which is ironic when you think about it with a Virgo and we're like, oh, practicality and routine. I mean, it's, I imagine it's probably one of Virgo's challenging features.
Mhm.
And the difference between Gemini and Virgo, because they're both ruled by Mercury, is Gemini is just it because it's a masculine sign is just probably a lot more vocal about some of those things. It can let go of ideas a little bit quicker, but Gemini is mutable too. So it's just I feel like Virgos internalize it more and hide it better, and they're way more
Mm.
humble than Gemini. More modest and
That's what I noticed. Yeah.
gregarious, and may come across, as even shy sometimes. Um,
Mhm.
but I, and these are just all generalizations. We all have, a great big recipe. Listen to me,
Recipe.
recipe, a recipe that um, makes up each one of us. So we're all different and we have different influences. And a little bit of every energy is in every one of us. Oh, hi.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
interesting that Tom came in and he's got a black sheep like me, Grimly. And did you know Grimly was somewhere behind the
Oh,
scenes? Say
hi,
hi.
Tom.
Hi, Grimly. Hi, Tom. Hi, everybody in chat. So
Yes,
Audra says, I have a Libra sun. Interesting. So let me go back
beautiful.
to Kristen. I don't know if this is the time to
Yes.
share this right now. If this is a
I'll
good
go
point.
ahead and just say it.
Okay.
Yeah, you know me, I'm gonna kind of bounce off of each. Gemini's attention span is short. Um, so with Saturn, Kristen, I have three planets in Saturn, and they're all in the fifth house, which the fifth house is Leo's house. So, it's what brings you pleasure. And children kind of fall into that too because of, um, the birds and the bees and all that stuff. Like it falls into there.
Birds and the bees and the
Yeah.
lemons and the trees.
Best word I could come up with at the time. It's funny. So that is weird um house for Virgo to be in anyways. It's not the most comfortable house because Virgo, um, you know, what it does to me, especially with the Saturn, because Saturn is very restrictive, and it's like the teacher, the teacher that teaches you those hard lessons in life, but we're supposed to grow from them. Saturn, is not Jupiter. Jupiter is just like, woo, Jupiter rules Sagittarius, like more
Woohoo,
positive
Saggies!
and more, yeah, it's
Sorry.
very expansive. And that's where a lot of our good fortune and stuff comes from. But, Saturn serves its purpose for
Mhm.
sure. And, but yeah, we can feel rather restricted in that. So I feel like the way, and what I would suggest to you, Kristen, if you don't know what house that your Virgo Saturn sits in, I would look at that because it shapes the way that Saturn and Virgo in work together in that. So it adds another layer for you to understand how that works on your side. Like with me, I feel guilt when I'm trying to enjoy myself because I think of all the things that I need to do. That's one of my things right there. When I see, I have Jupiter and Saturn, and then Jupiter and Saturn, Jupiter and Virgo, and then I have Mars and Virgo. Mars and Virgo, not a great placement. It's
No.
a terrible placement. Yeah, if you just like think about sitting that sign and that planet and what that planet means. You just think about it like that, and you can really see, just glean a lot without having to know, all of these, degrees and aspects and this, you know, Cooks and whatever all this stuff is, You don't have to go that deep with it. You just have to really just think about the big picture idea of it, and just literally like sit Virgo and Mars. Virgo thinks too much. We think something to death before we're going to act on it. And that's what
Sounds
it
like
does to me. Yeah. And so, probably what that does to me in the fifth thing, too, is I know there's some perfectionist syndrome there. And I have a hard time because getting past the idea of perfection, that I have a hard time starting something. And it can be even something pleasurable, like everything is this decision to me. And yeah, I can agonize myself over that. And I have been doing some meditation and exercises to help let some of that go. And the children in the background that you hear, they're happy right now. They help with that too. Because
Yeah.
it is time for perfection with twin toddlers. But anyways.
Garnet has a question for you.
Yeah, I would love. I
I
hope
think
that
I
helps
understand.
some little
Oh,
listen,
I'm
Lulu's
sorry. I
Kristen.
thought we
Oh
were.
no, I was just gonna say I hope that helps some
Okay.
Kristen. Yeah, look at what house it's in, and
Okay.
then look a
House.
little bit more into that, and you'll get even more information how that works. But just think of Saturn's going to restrict, and teach like your boundaries,
Yeah.
things that rules, things like that.
Yeah. When Saturn moves into my house, they say of money. Oh man,
Oh
that just.
Lord, that's hard. It's
I'm like,
hard.
great.
That is hard.
But
That's the
Saturn's
second
so
house.
pretty with the rings. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, yeah.
Um. So I hope that helped, Kristen. And I Garnet says, is there only three cardinal
Hmm.
fixed and mutable because there's four, so there's going to be 12 signs. So if there's
Oh wait, hold up. No, there's four. There's four. Hold up. Okay, let's just do this right now because I know the
okay,
see our cardinal fire. Like see we have the fire, which is Aries. Cancer is cardinal. Libra is cardinal, and Capricorn is cardinal. So four signs per each
okay,
modality. That's what they call
there we go.
modalities. Yeah, that word
Thank
just
you.
popped out of nowhere. Thank you, universe.
I was going to say me and numbers, and yes, Garnet, Saturn is Father Time.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
feeling Father Time too. And this is
Hmm.
interesting. Wow, Audra, 5 Virgos in her chart.
And not in your main planets. I wonder what like
Interesting.
so I wonder what they are. You'll have to share if you
It's
and it might
amazing,
take a little typing, but I'm curious now.
because I got
They
like
must be
three
sitting in
Scorpios.
some of your exoplanets, and yeah, like the ones that are not visible to our eye, perhaps. So
Oh my goodness! And she's got five Scorpio are in my main. Wow. Yeah,
yeah, you can be
I've
very
got three
secretive,
Scorpio.
like not secretive, like in a cunning way, but you could be very private, very private,
My daddy was a Scorpio.
intensely private. And Virgo can be that way too.
And the real Sky told me that instead of me being a I'm Western Saggy, but real Sky, I'm Scorpio. So I was like, oh, I kind of have something in connection with my daddy now because my daddy was a
Oh,
Scorpio. So, um,
yeah. The real
oh my
sky tells
goodness,
me I'm Aries rising.
me
There is
too.
not much cardinal in me. Like I
I'm
need more
I'm an
of that,
Aries
like
rising too. So
go.
is Amanda,
And that's
Empress.
just one I don't see the Aries rising in me because I'm so conflict avoidant and not very
Mm-hmm. I
spontaneous.
don't
I mean,
like
I just
conflicts.
really don't see that one for me. Now, all most of the other things for that, but it's just my rising. I just don't
Aloha,
resonate with my
Jonathan.
rising on that. That's just me. Hi, Jonathan. Aloha.
Aloha. And aloha, if I could do a little plug, Jonathan will be with Nancy and I on Monday talking
I
about
saw
Madame
that.
Hale and some of the
Well,
other
I'll be able to
Hawaiian
be
goddesses,
there
or
and
Akua, as they're
watch.
called by the people. So that will be fun. And Tom says, I have 5 Scorpios too, I think. So
Doesn't surprise me.
why I'm, agreeing along with, because actually Tom's birthday is the day after my daddy's birthday.
He's
So
like one of the nicest Scorpios I've ever
yeah.
met. He's so
So Kristen
nice.
says, I believe I have 3 Scorpios: Scorpio Sun, Venus, and Uranus. Or Uranus.
Wow. Wow.
I
Kristen.
prefer saying Uranus or
Wow.
Uranus.
Wow. And your Venus and
See,
your
I don't know
sun
anything
and
about that.
Uranus
And
is
she's like,
very rebellious, and Venus, is beauty, love, also just how you interact, just even casually meeting people, flirting, things like that.
and Kristen
Um,
is being very open with this. She goes, I'm sexually intense.
I was about to get there. Yeah.
And I
You
can
got you
tell
you
because
you're like
Kristen
a
is very
pot boiling
sensual
over.
in her dress and everything. When you look at her, she's just like you exude the Freya,
You
Kristen.
exude it,
You
yeah.
really exude Freya. Um,
Naturally, like you could probably, just like me being Gemini Sun and a Gemini Venus. I
and
flirt,
oh,
and I'm not even flirting in my head,
hmm,
but it comes across that way. Yeah.
yeah, I've heard that before too.
Hmm.
And Jonathan says, and this is interesting. I think our personalities are more influenced by our moon signs. What do you think? That's interesting. And never
Yes.
really very cool. So then
Yeah.
our sun sign would be then what we present to people, and then the moon is more internal of our
It's
real
our soul
personality.
essence is our sun. If that makes sense.
So
Like,
okay.
you know, um, if you think of the sun and what it does, it uh, brings life and vitality to things. And so, but it's not the depth of our being. The moon, where you've got to reach into that feminine, that moon side, um, draws in, is nurturing, but that's also where, like, our inner soft
Tina,
squishiness
is
is
that
there, like what
a
we're
soft
trying.
squishy center?
Yeah, I always think of Cancer when I think about the soft squishies, with their shell on the outside to protect all the softness inside, but they've got that
Mhm.
shell, that barrier is like, and those claws, the little pinchers. Yeah, because that's where our
Ooh.
fears and our um just our inner self, that our family and people who get to know us closely, that's our moon. And yeah, I feel that a lot.
So Scott says I have 0 placements in Virgo. Does that mean that I am unbalanced and could use some Virgo energy?
Not at all. It just depends. I mean, I'm not gonna like look at somebody. I mean, I have my unbalanced sides to mine for sure. Like, I have very little water. I mean, my biggest water placement is a Cancer Mercury. But that's how I communicate and stuff. Um, and So I guess it's kind of a significant, but that's really like one of the only waters in my chart. And then I have very little fire. Like, my north node is Leo, and that's what I'm supposed to strive for. Like, the purpose is, I think, to get past my insecurities and put
Yes.
myself out more. Yeah, to be
I want to
okay
learn more about the
being
nodes.
vulnerable. Yeah, being more vulnerable, to put myself out there. I feel like that's
Mhm.
my Leo North Node.
And Tom says my sun, Mars, Uranus, North Node, and Midheaven is in Scorpio. What's a Midheaven? I think I've
That's
seen that.
career. And you can
Midheaven is
only get
career.
that. You have to know, like, your birth time to get an accurate midheaven and your
Mm-hmm.
rising. And then also, like, people look at your descendants. That's how you act in relationships. And you want to
Mhm.
look at other people like their descendant line because you know how they're going to act towards you. If
Yeah.
you know their time of, birth.
And Jonathan says, I have at least four
Casually too
signs
bad.
in Virgo, tropical, and real sky.
Jonathan, I can see that I mean that in a complimentary way because um, I can tell you research, you love research
Hmm.
and your
He's a
knowledge.
perfectionist.
Yes, yes. And even your art, when you
That's
were
where I was
doing
when we were
that
doing
start,
the
like,
art. I
yes,
gotta
that's
do
one
this
of the
just
things.
right. Hmm.
Virgo art. I was looking up Virgo artists. Let me, okay.
And
You'll just
Kristen
have to
says,
bear with me hopping
thank
around.
you to you. So you're welcome, my dear.
I wrote down a Virgo artist. I don't. I'm probably not saying this right at all, so please forgive me. A Weiwei, a Weiwei, a Weiwei. He's Chinese, and
Okay.
he did this exhibit in 2011. It is 100 million sunflower seeds that they are not really sunflower seeds. It took a village of 1,600 people in himself to paint these porcelain sunflower seeds to look like sunflower seeds. Think about painting each little seed. And then this exhibit stretches a whole floor just covered with sunflower seeds. That is Virgo art.
Wow. And you know
That
what
is,
made me
yeah.
think of is there was a movie done. Let's see. I saw it about. I think it was about 8 years ago. It was released a few years, but around the 2010s, that they did a life story on Van Gogh, and
Yes.
the whole movie was done creating created from oil painting. There's voice acting, but what they did is the artists did. There was like I don't know how many hundreds of frames. They all had to learn how to paint like Van Gogh, and they
Mhm.
all see every couple I mean, and then when they put it all together, it flowed just like a movie. It is if you get to see
Yes.
that
Because you
movie
see
on a
those little
beautiful big
individual
screen.
brush strokes. Yes. And they
When you see
all,
that on a big
mhm.
screen, I still get chills when I start seeing the opening. Tears were just pouring down my eyes because being an artist, I could not believe how stunning and what Van Gogh would have thought
Yes.
seeing his life, his artwork being brought to the screen like that.
It
So
was
I wonder
so
if he was a
special.
Virgo. Mm-hmm.
I gotta look that up. It was so special getting to visit the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam when I went. It was
Oh, I would
a
love to
while
go.
back, but yeah, it was pretty incredible.
Oh,
Pretty
wait a minute, wait a
incredible.
minute. I have no. Oh, wait a minute. I have no planet in my first house, but then that's not what I went to go um tap on. Scott, we don't need that Virgo trash. What? 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 What's going on here? Tom, are you starting to cause trouble in my chat? Cat Moon and Cap Ascended. So there was another question for you.
Okay,
And it was from
sure.
Scott. And Amanda says really quick, I'm a fiery Pisces mermaid. I believe it. I could see you
Yeah,
hiding those fins underneath that table and
you're
they're flapping
steaming
around
up the
like this as
water.
you're reading. Yep.
The water is hot and
Um,
steamy.
okay. Oh, well, then Bill said there's a big black cow gazing intently at me. Say hi. Smile back. Tell me to get a move along. So
That's a
Scott wanted to know.
very earth sign animal.
Yes, ascendant is rising. What is descendant? I didn't know there was a descendant.
Hmm. Okay, so there's this line where your ascendant, okay, runs your ascendant's always your first house because that's like the time that you were born, literally. And that's you, it's yourself. And then when you
Okay.
go across and it's all one line, there's just two different sides of it, okay? So you
Okay.
go from the ascendant and then you go all the way here, I'll go. You go all the way over here, and there's the descendant. And that sits in the seventh house, which is Libra's house. You know, so Aries, the first house, is all like self, me. You know, It's the first,
Huh.
like it's like the baby that's born, you know? And then we go through these evolutions of
Scorpio.
houses where
Okay.
we gain skills and stuff. And then eventually we're coming into where we see you and how you and me work together. Seventh house is all about relationships. And my teacher and I, we were talking though, we really think the eighth house is marriage, not so much the seventh house, because the eighth house is Scorpio. It's like till death do us part. That's Scorpio, you know, like
Yeah.
loyal, like in it for the long haul, almost to at our own
That
detriment
was my
kind of
dad and
stuff.
my mom.
Yeah. But the seventh house is more of like wedding, engagement, relationships, boyfriend, girlfriend. I mean, like we were, it's before you hit the, wow, our assets are really all intermixed here because, you know, the eighth house is other people's money and taxes, sex too. But yeah, so it's more serious. It's like what I like to say. What's the eighth house? And so we were really like talking. We were kind of coming up with an argument to say that marriage really belongs to the eighth house because it's a
Marriage belongs to
contract,
eighth house.
in our opinions.
Oh, okay.
In our opinions.
Yeah,
Um,
Kristen says there's a descendant. New info for me. Yeah, so I'll have to share my
descendant.
picture, my chart with Karen, and so make
These
sure I
are
read mine right.
that's who and you know like my okay, so I'm Taurus. I was so shocked to find this out. I'm a Taurus descendant and my descendant is Scorpio. And my husband's a Scorpio. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? I had no idea. I started thinking about I was like, I do like to pry and pull in a very you know, kind of sly way information. You know, like I'll save it in my head, you know, like
Taurus.
taking notes about
My
them.
my therapist is a
Kind of like
Taurus.
a
She's very
detective.
Taurus. Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, Taurus is very, you know, like we can even have a tendency to be lazy. Like but we can also when we're focused, we can work hard too. But we really do enjoy things that are sensual, like as in, you know, my furry blanket, my favorite blanket, don't touch it. My favorite pillow, don't touch it. Like food,
And
food.
it's interesting. I when I started learning about astrology, I thought we had to have something in every house. And when I was looking at mine, going, wait a minute, this can't be right. But we all, it's obviously as you learn, you know that there's not always going to be something. So when there is no sign in your house, what does
My
that
son is
mean?
lazy at heart. Yeah. When there is no what in your
There's
house?
no sign in your in a house. Like
Okay.
Debbie, she has nothing in her first house. So
Mm-hmm.
what would that mean?
I have not. I have other than my descendant. Wait, hold up. I take that back. Other than my descendant, and then like Uranus,
You're
which is a
welcome, Scott.
terrible planet to have in your seventh house. Rebellion. It causes me a lot of problems. Um, like it doesn't mean that you're empty per se,
Mm-hmm.
but you're just not as lit up there. You know, like there's not like literally something there that you need to focus into. But sometimes that can also be something when you look, just like in tarot. Sometimes we look to see what element is not there. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like oh, I threw this Celtic cross out and there's not a single sword in here, so this cannot be an intellect. You know, so it's like just kind of just shows that you know you really don't have as much there. Um, but also that those can be places that an astrologer can look and say, hey, if you can't figure out how to channel this type of, you know, energy that that this planet has a tendency, you know, to give you is like our cosmic blueprint when we're born. And we can channel it too to know how to work with others around us that might have some of these traits. It's about um, really learning how to not just, benefit yourself, but to be able to work with others. And some people might could call that possibly being a little manipulative at times, but I used to say it's smart at times to know things like you can understand so much more about someone. Will I use some of these tactics with my kids? Absolutely. That's like an innocent kind of manipulation method that I'm thinking of, How can I get my kids to do the chores and think it's their idea? Let me look at their charts.
Eat their
Let me think
vegetables.
about it. Yeah. what can I say or do in a certain way that might appeal to them more? Um, it, I think it's very psychological, and that's really what interests me the most about it. So, um, but don't worry about, I think a lot of people would have to have some kind of house empty. I mean, there's only so many planets to go around in luminaries. Um, you know, uh, I don't really, we haven't got into asteroids. There's so many of them that, I mean, I couldn't possibly track that. My teacher doesn't take too much stock in it because it's classical astrology that we're learning. So we're not
This is
even
what kind of
technically
astrology you're learning?
classical.
So that
So,
doesn't
so,
involve the
so,
meat, the
so it invites, we're going to
asteroids.
talk about Neptune and Uranus, and I'll use in Pluto, but primarily the planet rulers that we acknowledge, are um, from like what Jupiter, uh, Saturn, Mars, going back to Mercury, Venus, all that. So seven, I think, seven.
So before, because we got people asking about other signs now, and we just want to make sure that we got everything. Is there anything else about Virgo? Seeing that we're in the sign, was there any other information you want to share about Virgos, or do we want to just jump
Me in
into the
general.
question? Yeah,
Okay,
that you got
okay.
it,
Um,
and then we'll get to because everyone's sharing their signs, and I think this is fascinating.
this has
But
been a great, like, so much interaction. And
mm-hmm.
yeah, like usually like we're just sitting here like blah 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 blah. Like y'all are asking these awesome questions and so interactive. We really appreciate that. Um, I will just kind of just, give a little spiel, like as short as I can. Virgo's Mercury is exalted in Virgo, and it's ruler. So just, side note
Exalted.
there. Yeah, not in Gemini.
What does
Sorry,
that mean?
yeah, not in Gemini. It it it's
Exalted.
the it's the like the best.
Yes. Okay. That's why
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
said
It's
exalt, I
the
know when you
best.
exalt somebody,
It's
but
the
I didn't know if
best
there was a
placement
different.
for it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like it's the best placement for Mercury.
Definitely,
Um
Jonathan.
yes. Um, you know, I'm seeing Jonathan like the information sharing just ding something in my head about like, the difference in Mercury, which I touched on a little bit earlier, between, the masculine and feminine, the way that we're going to express through Mercury. But, like a great job for a Virgo would be like an editor, that behind the scenes, in
I
depth
need an editor
research. Yeah. Like,
for my writing.
one super interesting thing that I wrote down that I thought really needed to share because I really liked this concept is okay, so body parts that Virgo rules: the small intestines, the large intestines, and the pancreas. What do these things do in our bodies? Okay, they they extract the things that aren't good for us, and then it's a filter, but it also feeds the nutrients and things that are good for us. So that's kind of in a way what Virgo is doing. They can seem nitpicky, they could seem really critical, although just know they will always be more critical of themselves than they ever can possibly be of you. They're just looking at something that can needs to be fixed, They want to fix it. They want to
Yeah.
help. You know,
Yes, I
they
understand.
see a problem that they see the solution for. And how can we, you know, uh, take out this, extract the waste here to make this more efficient, better. My girls are really loud, but at least they're happy right now. They're
Yes, we
playing.
like happy kids.
They're yeah, they had a late nap, so dear Lord, help me. They're gonna be up for a while. um, but so just know a lot of the times if Virgo kind of rubs you the wrong way because they're notorious for giving unsolicited advice. They're so untold. um, Virgo maybe, kind of take into consideration that like maybe I should ask whether they want to know that, or if they're, accepting of the help. But also too to be understanding that just know that they're criticizing themselves like 10 times harder than they if they're coming across as critical as you. I think it's more of like just trying to make a system, the whole work, more smoothly, better, more efficient. And that's that practical side, you know. And then there's that service side, that helping others almost sometimes to the detriment of yourself. Um, I've even read where, my brother's a Virgo. This is a great testament to what I'm about to say, is that he has always had a tendency to find relationships where somebody needed something to be fixed about them. He saw something he wanted to feel needed. He won't admit that, but he does. He likes to feel helpful. And he's always kind of, supported and really bent over backwards, to where he saw that he could really fix somebody. Seriously. I mean, I
Audra
hate to
says
put it
you are
that way.
very on point. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Sometimes, I mean, this is just astrology. We all have our things. And, some things can kind of seem critical or off putting, but I don't mean that in any way, because we dish it out every month. Every sign gets the turn. um, so, but you're very, very smart. And one thing I've learned in my astrology classes to think about too is how, because Mercury is I mean, it's probably, makes signs ruled by Mercury some of the intellectually smartest signs. Virgo's probably even more common sense smart too. We'll just add common sense smart to them too, where Geminis might not always be. um, but that mercurial wit and intelligence. The difference too between the Gemini though is like our attention spans. Yeah, our attention span is short. So in one ear, out the
The
other.
other.
Read, 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 read. I might not retain it all. I'm
Yeah,
okay with
like
not.
tonight, I'm not going to
Yeah.
retain hardly any of this. So
Yes.
I'm trying my best to, what I can, because it's just sometimes how our brains work.
Jonathan, I like his. I've learned to ask questions instead of give advice.
Yeah, because he made a comment a little while ago that he's one of those people that gives advice. Guilty. I give advice all the time.
I
That's
do
the little
too.
hoops.
I do too. When I was writing down, some interesting notes and facets about Virgo to kind of dig deep a little bit here. That was one thing I was like, yeah, Karen, yeah, you do it. You do it.
And Christina, who's a fellow, is a viewer who's in Australia. So it's good morning to you, my dear. Virgo woman, can be very emotional and stubborn.
Mhm.
Mhm. So she was sharing
Um,
a little bit about the Virgo.
you know, Emotional might just be a little bit expressed a little bit differently though, because this brings up a really big, huge key point I wanted to write down about Virgo
Okay.
is that Virgo's love language, you heard about the love languages, is acts of service. They're going to show you how they feel about you through the things they do for you, more so than what they say or express. I mean, because the mind is going so quickly. Like that other point I was just about to say, I'll finish that one off because it's a really good point to know that difference between the Geminis and the Virgos is that the Gemini will quickly just let something go. But the Virgo ruminates. I must figure this out. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like it has to make sense to me. That is one thing I learned in my astrology class, and I was like, yeah, okay, I can see that. I can see that. But the quietly human side. They're not going to express it as much. They're not as vocal about, you know, everything as a Gemini is just like, because that masculine, like blah blah blah, like put it out there, being more, proactively in your face about things. Where Virgo's just going to be more feminine, more, withdrawn, but very nurturing, more
Mm-hmm.
receptive,
Yeah,
that kind
Earth.
of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. And how can an earth sign be mutable, right? Like it's an interesting thing when you think about it. Like we were talking about, routines, blah, blah, blah. Um, I think Virgo definitely is very practical, but they can, they're money savvy, and with that Mercury, it can have them thinking quick in their feet a lot more to like solve problems and in just being so smart. I think they have that ability to bring that great manifestors in the earthly realm of anything, practical that you can touch, feel, commitment, whatever, that they are really great at small details. And the last thing that I thought was really important to mention is their opposite sign. Their polarity is Pisces. Pisces is ruled by Jupiter in classical astrology.
Oh.
And Jupiter, that expansive, but Neptune too. You think about it, the dreamy, the out there, almost reaching into the next realm. They're the last sign. They can see more of like the big picture, where a Virgo can get so lost into a detail that it's almost like bordering, OCD, anxiety, like trying to get out of the minutia. Is that a word? Did I say that right? That
Oh,
sounds okay. The minutia, but anyways, the
yeah.
small
Yeah.
stuff.
Minute, the minutiae. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Gotcha.
Sometimes just words just fly out. Um,
Same here.
gotta roll with it, all right? And
Makes sense.
we didn't really say like um, Keanu Reeves is a Virgo. Yeah, right. Yeah, that sixth house. Like he's got the body, right? They know how to take care of
Mm.
themselves,
And when he
and he's
plays that bass in
yeah.
that band, the way he just,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God.
Yeah, yeah. That
Okay.
because your sixth house is like work, service, and help. It's important, Virgos. Remember to take care of yourselves. Leave some self care,
Mm-hmm.
for yourselves, and not to overdo it with your service to others as well. That's really important for you because uh, mercurial energy is so
Yes, Tom.
it like really hits in your nerves, like you can suffer like insomnia, things like that. It's good to get, exercise and relaxation techniques and stuff to really just
Get
quiet the
grounded. Earth
mind.
sign. Get grounded. Make sure that you're in touch with your
Abs-
element. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And
Guilty of not taking care of self. Yes.
yes, get out in the
Same here.
nature because yeah, earth. You're going to really feel that, with you connect with your animals. Virgos are great with plants, just like a Taurus. Well, I mean, not me. My Gemini, it takes over as a Taurus part. Not. I would like to be better at plants, but I'm great with animals and kids. But anyways, yeah. So that was just kind of one thing to think about, with Virgo, some, versus Pisces, and they're being on the opposite scale. I think sometimes it's good to look at the opposite sign from you, and astrologers do that a lot. Like Virgos, we like to think help. Pisces might take it to heal. A Virgo is going to be physical, where the Pisces is metaphysical, common sense versus sixth sense. You think of these polarities and you understand, like, the opposite side of you. And also, it kind of can show you where maybe you need to grow from and learn from
Mhm.
each other through your opposing sign. So that's kind of my little astrology spiel. It's all over the place. I could,
As you've been going on, people have just been going on about Keanu.
yeah, he's
So
fabulous, right?
and Tom's like, all right, enough now, everybody, ladies, calm down.
Settle
Yeah, well,
down, settle down.
um, Bill had to leave, so
Oh,
and we have somebody new in chat joining us.
fabulous.
Soul Lunar 79 ruminating like a movie on repeat. Yes, those tapes or those things that
Mm-hmm.
you just keep going over and over and just thinking, oh, if only I could, if I just done this differently, and maybe if I look at it
Yes.
this way and that. Yes, that's where I can see the Virgo in me with the real sky astrology.
Rumination is a big word. It's a big
Yep.
keyword. Mm-hmm.
Or as my counselor Kathy says, the stinking thinking. Got to
Stinking
get rid of
thinking.
that stinking thinking.
Yeah.
Um,
And
so
analysis paralysis is another one
yes,
too.
that's my
Yeah.
big thing right now. Yep, with having to move in, what do I get rid of? What do I keep? What's sentimental? What I can, it you just freeze into place because you're looking at everything. You're like, I don't know. So I totally get that. And Kristen said I had a woman do my chart a few months ago, and it didn't sound like me at all. So it could have
Hmm.
been that she didn't do it right, or it just might be that. Have you noticed that people will have their charts done and not think that that sounds like them
There's different,
in your experience?
I relate more with the now I'm gonna forget the term because I've been talking. I'm like, I know it starts with a P.
Well,
The
we can all take
Placidus.
time and go for a sip.
The Placidus chart system, I relate more within the whole sign. There's different ways in Western. There's a
Oh
lot
my
of different
God.
ways that you can do your chart. And my teacher says it's kind of like a religion. Just pick one and try to stick with it and don't deviate, is what he told me. Unless somebody is telling you absolutely, like, no,
Mm-hmm.
use this chart on me. Like, if I'm, with a client. Um,
There's
but
so many.
I mean, the Placidus for me, I it's a big difference where it puts my moon, what house it puts my moon. In Placidus, my moon's in the 12th house, and I resonate with that so much more, and that's why, like, because I don't see myself. My life is not self-focused. If anything, this is the bit of time I
Mm-hmm.
can squeeze out for myself. It's so
Mm-hmm. And we're so
self-sacrificing.
thankful that you did that because we enjoy having you. And Kristen Louise says information constipation. Yes. So
Hey, Kristen Louise, and anybody, I will be like
Americans.
putting up posts in my when I'm at the end stage of my astrology class, which will be closer to like Christmas. And mind you, Christmas, I'm probably not gonna be starting reading. So right off the bat, I'm gonna be starting, trying to finish off my list. I have to do 100 free readings to get my certification with my teacher. And so, Kristen, Louise, and anybody that you want to send me an email or whatever, I can put you on my list. um, and these will be handwritten I mean, of course, I'm gonna digital, type it up for you, but it's in my words. Um, and we can, if there's something, Jonathan, I would be honored. Absolutely. It's on my,
And
it's Care Bear Bard of Cards at Gmail. Just like my name, at Gmail.
Tom
Uh,
already nabbed you earlier. I
yes,
need Karen to do a
I
full
told him I
breakdown
was
of
going
my
to do
chart.
it. Yeah. And Heather, yeah, you're already in there.
He's like, I don't.
Yes.
He can't figure stuff out too, and I'm just looking at the one I got, and I'm like, okay, but this
Okay.
make I
Yeah.
don't.
I'm gonna
Um,
write this down on my little notebook now to put on my ongoing
because then Tom goes,
list.
okay, looking at my chart, my ninth house starts at 29 Virgo, containing Mercury and Pluto. Yeah, I see that. My brain just glazes over. I have no idea. I mean, so it's good that we have experts like Karen here to help us through.
Well, and if there's just something too that I'll probably, want to communicate with you a little bit beforehand is, what's the challenge in your life? Like I really want to help people work with what they have to grow and to rather than give you a bunch of stuff that you might not really want so much focus on, like we can touch on those things, but I want to make sure that I go into the parts that really are, you're having troubles in your life with right now or something you're struggling with, to really try to get down down to the depth of maybe why that is. Because it's just there's archetypal patterns and energies that
Mhm.
that come with
And I
that.
just want to, oops, that's not good. Well, we can go ahead and share that because Jonathan said when I was in college and had to give presentations, my number one complaints about my presentation was it was too much information. Hashtag overachiever, Jonathan.
That's me too. That's a
But
mercurial, like, yeah,
and
me
this is
too.
perfect. I'm going to highlight Audra's comment, and just so I can let YouTube know and people in chat and those who watch on replay when we talk about astrology and our health and our bodies. This is for entertainment purposes only. Always please see a your primary doctor. This is just for a discussion and for entertainment, and this is not by any means us giving medical advice.
A
So I just want
Virgo
to put that
nurse.
little disclaimer in there. So that was perfect, Audra.
That's perfect.
Perfect.
Virgo
Open it
nurse.
right
Yeah.
up for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
Oh,
Jonathan was like, pick me.
yes.
Tom, free. I would
Be
be
honored.
interested.
I
And
would be
do you
honored.
want me to send, let me know if you want me to send Kristen your email or if you want to
Okay.
do it
Yeah, yeah.
or
And
vice
I'm
versa.
writing you down. I'm putting you like I'm writing down to put on my list
Uh,
right now
and
too.
Amanda
So
said she would love that too, Tropical Empress. And
absolutely. I put you down. Hmm.
Tom said he will email you. And Christina
Fabulous.
says, I would love it too. So I don't know how
Yeah.
many you can take, but I'm just letting you know everybody who's
Yes.
willing to. And Kristen would like to know, should I email you now or at Christmas? So that's a good question for anybody who's interested. Do you want everyone to wait until Christmas?
Well, I
Christmas
mean, if
time?
you haven't talked to me, like if you want to go ahead and email to get on the list, and then closer to time, I'm gonna write that down right now too, Jonathan.
Okay,
And
here's
closer to
Jonathan's
time,
email.
I'll
You
probably
know,
talk with you more because my my journey. I'm learning so much. I have about 6 hours of lectures each week plus study group. So I mean, it's an intensive astrology course, and I'm
and
learning
Amanda says,
with
I
Dusty
will
White.
email
Yeah.
you.
So
Beautiful lady.
who this is his fabulous book, by the way. He really breaks
Now
it
your
down.
teacher,
Yes, by my teacher. It's on
Dusty White.
Amazon, probably about $20. Dusty White, the easiest way to learn astrology. And by the way, his advanced tarot book, Aphrodite's Secrets, that one is awesome.
Ooh,
Great.
Aphrodite's Secrets.
Yeah, his
Ladies,
black book
grab a
on
picture of
tarot
Keanu.
is awesome. And then his websites,
He's
like
having fun.
he has lots of free podcasts that are out there too about
Mhm.
astrology and tarot. He's a Sagittarius. He's very funny, and he is like spewing like so
I'm not
much
funny.
information. Like he knows his stuff. Like, but he says it in an entertaining,
He's
funny
the
way.
OG of astrology. He's the OG of astrology.
He spent 9 years writing this book. So,
Wow.
and he created a something in astrology too. That's not going to mean a lot to y'all, but it's a whole chapter of a different way to help you learn. Because you don't even like learn the signs in this book, the sign names, until like I think it's like chapter. It's like the middle of the book because it's building
Wow.
blocks to really help
That's
you
what's
understand
important.
and
Mm-hmm.
understand the polarities, feminine. I mean, and you build up slowly. And me like knowing what the signs and all that were, I had too much that like got, and it was just like overwhelmed. This going back to the basics and having like my depth of understanding and thinking really what these elements mean, what does cardinal mean, and really focusing on that has really been such a profound journey. I don't know how else to put it. Eye
And
opening. Yeah.
and Audra also shared with us, I was a self-esteem abuser to myself. I was living long and hard in that south node of Virgo mentality.
Yeah, there you have a south node, you have an overabundance of it's like a tendency to be a certain
But
way.
you're
Mine's
strong,
Aquarius. Hmm.
resilient,
Yeah. Thank y'all so
strong lady.
much.
And
So
Amanda
much.
says, I can be very opinionated. Must be the Virgo side of me talking.
And a little bit of that
Maybe.
Aries too.
There you go. And Audra also said, I was just looking at librarian and was looking at it, looked like Libra. So it's interesting how some of the astrological signs also fit
Yeah.
into common day words that people, you
Yeah,
know,
absolutely. There's like
and
even some like computer programs and like some I think there's like a something like there's this internal body scope that's named a Virgo, like in medical use.
mhm,
Looking at the inside, the details. I thought that was really interesting.
yep. And the Virgo Pisces, the I can never say the caduceus. I think that's part of one of the
Yeah,
signs that
the
they use too with
caduceus.
Mercury. That
Yeah,
for in the
I think
tarot
that's
and for
right.
health as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
And Kristen
that's like
says
on
she
the
just
Two of
emailed
Cups.
you. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Um,
Yepers.
and one funny thing I remember I wrote down professions that are not good for Virgos. Customer service because either
Oh my God! No wonder. I don't know.
customer service probably not the best Virgo because you're either gonna like break your back to help people, or somebody's gonna be entitled and they're gonna rub you the wrong way. And the
It
Virgo way
happened to
to
me
get
every
back is
day.
like Virgo way to get back is going to be like your coupon is expired and blah, 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 like to know all the little details that you can just like
Can
throw
I
it
tell
right
you?
back
I
at
had
them.
a lady bring me 12 coupons that were the same one. She had 12 items and wanted me to do 12 separate transactions. And I had a freaking line of people. And I'm like, are you serious? I'm supposed to get off in like 5 minutes.
No
My manager
consideration
came.
of
Oh
the world around
my
them
God.
at all.
They're not
Yeah.
supposed to do that. And my manager was just like, we'll take care of it. Go. And they were doing it for her. And I'm just like, but I mean, the
Probably
stories for
just to
customer service
quiet the
people,
yeah, to
customer
quiet the
service,
fuss.
retail stores, TJ Maxx. Oh my God.
She's
Anyway,
probably notorious. The managers know her.
oh my God. Every place, it's all about making the customer happy. And I'm like, really? Does that mean us being allowed to accept a return of silk pajamas that has a certain type of stain on it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, customer service, when you say customer
Yeah.
service, it was just like,
I could see a Virgo could be like, ew. The potatoes are like, are
for
you
me,
kidding?
I was just like, will somebody please stand up for the rules here? This is not right. Oh my goodness. I was so happy to get out of work, at retail. Oh my God. And hello, Ruby. Welcome. We have another new
Hi.
person
Hi,
joining
Ruby.
us, Ruby Rodriguez, and she's a
Ruby, that's
Scorpio,
pretty.
or he. And that is so true. It's a joke. Help them or hell no, I won't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And you'd be very particular about, you know, people that you date too. I mean, even though some not every
yeah.
work is the same, but some might want to fix more, but yeah, very, very particular who you give your energy to. Yeah.
Hmm.
Which can kind of make a Virgo a little bit more appealing too, is like that
A
breaking
cool
through
note
the
though.
shell.
One of the good things about working for TJ Maxx, one of the interesting things is I got to meet Lori Cabot.
Ooh, that's cool.
So, for people who don't know who Lori Cabot is, she's the Salem witch.
That's
She's the
crazy.
infamous Salem, yep, Lori Cabot. And she came into TJ Maxx when I was living in Massachusetts. And yeah, I got to meet her.
Wow.
Uh,
Wow.
Interesting lady.
What did she say?
She was just looking, and I don't think people were kind of like, don't over like, because she
Yeah.
just wants to be there to shop and whatnot. But I just remember walking by her, looking up and smiling. I said, "Hello, Miss Cabot." She goes, "Hello," and that was it. So, but
Okay.
she was quite the sight to see too. But yeah, people in chat going, "Who the hell is that?" She's been around since the '80s. She's one of the ladies that helped bring awareness and became like you have like Madame Laveau, down in New Orleans for voodoo.
Yes,
Lori
yes. She's
Cabot is
infamous.
like the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
here with her up here
Yeah.
and on the East Coast, and so yeah, it was still very. Oops, so she was very, and you never got to say well, not
Me
this
neither. I
lifetime,
want to go. Yeah. I'm laughing
but
at the comments.
it's very. She was the lady with the 12 coupons. No, she wasn't. No, because that was here in New York, Tom. But no. Um, let's see. I met Lori Cabot too at her store back in the day. Very cool, Tom. Yeah, because Tom doesn't live far from Massachusetts on the East Coast. So
Yeah. Like I told you already, like the coolest thing that happened to me was I got to meet Natalie Merchant's mom.
oh, Natalie, oh, that's cool.
She
Yeah, I
had
live in the
a
area where they're from, and I never.
she had a vintage store called the Time Warp that was downtown, and we like to go there. And I saw like the records of Natalie in there, and my friend was like, "Yeah,
Mhm.
that's Natalie's mom. That's Miss Merchant."
Oh, Delia.
Yeah,
And I actually
so
went to
cool.
high school for a year with the couple of the guys from the Goo Goo Dolls,
Yeah.
but
Oh
that was
wow,
before
that's
they were
cool.
big, and after they went big,
Yeah.
you see them every now and then. But Ani DeFranco is from Buffalo, but I didn't get into her
Love her.
music until after,
Yeah.
and I actually had a chance to jam with her when I was learning my drums, and I turned her down because I told her I wasn't ready. I wasn't, I wasn't skilled enough. And all
Okay.
these years
Okay.
later, I could kick myself in the, oh my
Like she probably
god,
would have been so cool and nice. She'd have been like, whatever. Yeah.
you met Billy Idol in a Bob's Big Boy. Oh my
Yeah, and he's met like
god.
Jason Hawes, the ghost hunter, and all that. I was like, yeah,
Yeah, so did Tom. He met Jason, and so oh my god.
yeah,
And Jonathan got to shake Mick Fleetwood's hand.
cool.
Yeah, I just learned that when he started dating Stevie Nicks, he was still married to his wife.
Ooh, scandalous.
But that was
Dating,
the times. That
dating.
was the times.
Not
Jumping
like
from one person to the
I
other,
mean,
but
like officially dating, or
well, they were. It
like
was secret. They
or
were. They were keeping their
okay, but it was
affair,
hush
and
hush.
so they
Okay,
would be
that's also
nice
so I
and
was like, whoa,
everything.
hold on.
And then later on, Stevie got dumped by Mick when he went out with her best friend. So
Oh, sorry.
it's just like,
Oh my God. How about I learned that the Heroes song by David Bowie really like they were on tour, and I think it was like his manager or something was having an affair, and they were like really in love or whatever, and I think he like saw them like kissing or something. I don't know.
who?
That Heroes song by David Bowie. We could be heroes
Yeah.
just for
So who
one
wrote that
day.
song?
David Bowie.
Yeah, but who was Bowie having an affair with?
Oh, not him. I mean,
Oh,
I'm sure I mean,
well,
he had his
well,
stuff.
back then again too.
No, but like his manager. his manager and tour.
I
Was
mean,
it
you
was
know,
about, yeah, so he was watching them, like, not like, but
Jagger and Bowie, and then you had
Sneak
Freddie
a Kiss or
Mercury and
something.
Bowie and all that.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it
we
was
all
about them. Like, and I thought
mhm.
that was really interesting. Um,
The
that
drugs, the drinking,
you know,
poor
I never
judgment.
listened to that song like that before, and then I was like, oh, all right, I could totally see that. No,
Yeah.
cool.
And people are coming and going, Virgo, and we're talking about, wait, what? But with Karen and I, we love music, we love our poetry. So this is where sometimes we end up, we start talking about,
Yeah, I can't help it. Like, go get the music stuff in. Well, in our fabulous chatters, we're bringing up some things too about it. So it
yes.
wasn't like we just pulled it out of, the blue.
Yeah, but Tom says Stevie always the homewrecker. But Tom, there was stuff that was done to her. I mean, a lot of people don't realize
Yeah.
she was pregnant with Don Henley's baby, and she kind of wanted to be a mom,
Wow.
and he kind of
I need to
coerced her
read more
not to
about her.
be. Hmm. So one
I
of the
love her
songs that
music.
you hear,
Yeah.
Sarah, that's a little bit about the girl that because she was going to have a girl. She found out. So
Oh,
it's all,
okay.
yeah. So this, I mean, the
Wow.
rock and roll world is very dark. I
Wow.
love Stevie too, but oh, wait a minute. I did get to give a kiss on the cheek to the. You did? Oh my God. He was
Ooh.
on. Did you see him, Audra? He was on the Masked Singer. We've been watching some of the old
Cool.
collections on YouTube. People have been putting the performances. Um, and he just lost his wife last year or the year before to cancer. Oh, I can't think of his name, but yes, I know not Tom Opat, but the other guy who ended up being a singer because people didn't realize he's got an incredible voice.
Dukes of
And
Hazard,
Bo
Tom, that
Duke,
really doesn't surprise me.
I mean,
Even
he's
mad to
still
know.
good looking. I just
Yeah.
now all of a sudden my brain is farting. I can't think of his name. Oh, wait a minute, he's a MAGA.
Mag-
Oh
yeah.
no.
I'm like, but that doesn't surprise me a little bit being the Dukes of Hazard show. I mean, it doesn't mean that every character had to be like that in real life, but
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
not. Oh, why I cannot think of the other guy's name? That's incredible. But he does actually have a very, very good voice. And yeah, they're scary. I've got about when you leave my building, you go down the street this way and over. There are a total of about 8 houses with the flags and the lawn signs all for him. And I
Well,
just
I
kind of
live in the
go by.
South.
I shake my head. I'm like, love and
I
light, love and light.
live in South Carolina.
So there you
Yeah,
go.
there I
It's like,
go.
oh, Heather, be quiet. She goes, here, hold my beer. Let me. What you got to eat here? Hold my beer. And we've got a store for him over here too by the park. And I'm like, meow. No, you've
Oh,
already been up here.
that's his way of like telling you, like, hey, look at me.
And Debbie says she's a Floridian. Oh wow, Debbie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's there too. Yeah, for sure.
Oh
So,
boy.
what do we want to do?
I don't know. It's 9:20. We kind of got sidetracked a little. But
Yeah.
oh,
Do we want to like read or share cards or I don't know.
I don't.
It's whatever your energy is because I'm fine. I'm just free flowing right now. I can go either which way.
See, I didn't think we were going to do readings because we always have so much information to share. So I didn't even think about like devising like what we could pull, unless you want to do a collective reading for everybody for the Virgo season.
Collective's good. Yeah.
Okay, so we can
Yeah,
do
we
that.
can do collective. So,
Um, what
the
deck are you
theme
going to use?
um well, this might be like a shot in the foot, but I'm going for it. Because it just makes me think of Virgo energy so much. I'm studying this deck, so it's the wildwood and just the nature in the like just the
Hmm.
humble imagery and stuff. I mean, fox, would be a good spirit animal for Virgo, by the way.
Oh, Fox are
Yeah,
wonderful. Very.
yeah. Sorry, it's a little. But yeah, our Knight of Bones, which is the Knight of Pentacles, our fox. I just think like this art just makes me think of Virgo. Oh, look, you'll like this, Heather. Instead of the Fool, it's the Wanderer.
See, I
And
don't
look
like
the
the word
rainbow.
book. Mm-hmm.
Yep. I love that like little the rainbow that is like a bridge for her. The leap of faith. She can
Mm-hmm.
walk across that rainbow to the other side. Wow. That's like very
Grab a beta. Oh, I
yeah.
have a friend.
It's
I
very
still talk to him
Uranian.
every
Yeah.
now and then. And I worked with him. You know, he was gay. He's gay, and I met him. I was shopping at the shop where he was in Massachusetts, and he goes. Oh, you want to hear my latest joke? I'm like, what? He goes, how did he say this? Um, I'm getting crickets. It was about Skittles. You want to? He goes. You want to taste the rainbow? I mean, see, this is why I am not a full on Sagittarius, because I cannot do a joke for the freaking life of me.
Well, I mean, maybe like um you're there's it's Sagittarius is like, well, let's just get through it.
I'm going to blame retrograde on this. I'm going to hang this on the Mercury
Yeah,
retrograde.
yeah.
Sorry, Mercury.
Perfectly reasonable
But he
there.
was always so funny. He goes, yeah, you like Skittles? Wanna
Ugh.
taste the rainbow or something like that? And I was just like, oh my god, and it just, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, ha.
Oh, and
Yeah,
Kristen
like I don't
says,
know what to say to that.
Bifrost, the rainbow bridge between Midgard and Asgard in Norse mythology.
Ooh, that is really cool. I
Oh,
like that.
God.
That's what I've got this, I mean, where's that guidebook? It's pretty thick. And then there's a whole workbook for it too. So, but some of the cards are different, like the 10 of arrows is very different than the 10 of swords in the RWS. So in case like I don't know, in case we were doing individual readings, I had my RWS on the side in case I was like, okay, abort mission, abort mission.
Oh my god.
Because I was thinking about RWS, practical, dependable Virgo, Okay, so I'm
Hmm.
thinking like Virgo. Oh, Virgo new moon. What date is that? Is it the third?
Um, I have no idea.
It's the third, I think. I wrote it down. Mm-hmm. The annual new moon in Virgo.
Bye, Kristen. Thanks for coming in, hon. It
Thank
was
you so
fun.
much, Kristen.
Thanks for your questions.
Really enjoyed having you here. Thank you. Um, yeah, so this is a great sign. I mean, great sign. A great time for
It is
you
a
to
great time
show.
too.
Yeah, great sign. It's a great time for you to showcase what's special about you during this new moon in Virgo in your sign. And then this is where you get in where I was talking about the polarities, your opposite sign,
Mhm.
Pisces. That is what the lunar eclipse is in Pisces. So that will happen
Another
on
eclipse.
the
Oh my.
18th. Yeah. So the new eclipse series, um, where what this will do to you, and I did write this down, okay? Because like Pisces is very like that dreamy,
Dreamy.
drifting kind of, yeah. And Uranus is having some effect to this too. And Uranus is about like rebelling and breaking out. So what's going to happen during that time is that can kind of really feel like you're going to be looking at the relationships, can
Mhm.
feel unsure where the other person is coming from, could be getting mixed signals,
Oh
but
yeah.
also, yeah, so
Especially with
there's like
retrograde.
that kind of like illusion, confusion
Are we still
kind of
going to be in
sense.
retrograde when this new moon hits? To add to it? No.
No, that was the
Okay.
other point.
Thank God.
So we go direct on, I think it was like, was it the end of it's like the 28th, 29th, but we're in the post shadow. You're going to start feeling some relief around the 9th, and officially, like on the 9th, it goes back into Virgo out of Leo, because it's it was in Virgo, then it scooted back to Leo for part of this retrograde.
And now we're
Okay.
gonna go back over here.
And then we're gonna scoot back over here. Yeah,
They had their little dance.
it's like the Rocky
They did a
Horror
little
Picture Show,
dance. They
where
made a
you
little love. They got down tonight. They got down tonight.
um but anyway, so yeah, so we're back in Virgo, and then you're officially really gonna feel the the fog and the clouds just,
Oh my God. I hope
lift
so.
on the 11th. So, if,
The
ironically,
fog.
9/11, but still, yeah, it's the best we feel better.
The fog. Let me tell you about the fog.
Yeah,
Remember, Rudolph, this fog is thick as peanut butter. You mean pea soup.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I've got some wicked things happening. Like, it's just, I don't know. Yeah, some shocks and whatever craziness this Mercury season, and we even like had our trailer stolen too. So crazy stuff. Anyways, a trailer to like load things on. So, anyways, just been a lot of little
So
things.
are you
It's all
going?
right.
So are you shuffling more cards for the collective? So I saw you pull out the Wanderer, or was
I just pulled that out for you. Like,
because she knows how much I don't like the word the fool.
I
I
was
like
too busy
the journey. The
talking.
journey. How about the seeker? The white.
Yeah.
You have to be a fool. I don't like. I
Well, you
pity the
can go
fool.
first, Heather, if you want. So I'll put
Um,
myself on mute and shuffle.
so I have some cards. I end up going with my Hush Tarot. And I love reading from the book because I love how Jeremy writes the information on his cards. So I don't do um, reversals, but this came out, so I'm going to honor it. I got the Page of Wands. This is what it typically looks like. It's one of her cool creations of her imagination. But this is coming in reverse. And so with the reverse, he says lack of motivation. And I believe that it is just like the energy has been thick. We've been in the retrograde stuff going on in the world energetically. I can totally get behind this. And he says complications have caused setbacks. Starting a new project that is not well thought out is set to fall apart. So as we're going into the new moon, things that Karen shared that with us, um, making sure that if you are going to start any plans, make sure that everything, all your T's are crossed, your I's are dotted, make sure everything is in place. That um, needs to be, and that you're not, it's good to be spontaneous, but at this time, to make sure that, like her creation, everything's all put together and that it's not going to fall apart as you start walking forward and moving forward with this. Next card, I got the beautiful Four of Pentacles, which is the crow. And I love reading from his book. So, and we know about the Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles is about retaining, holding on to finances, resources. Sometimes it's looked at being, you're the penny pincher, you don't share your wealth. But in this case, with the reverse page, that might not be such a bad idea. It's all about stability and having control. So, need to make sure you have control over your finances, over everything that's associated with the Pentacles, stability, security, projects. This has to do with spiritual work as well. And let's see if he mentions anything about the crow being in there. Just here, you stand guard over all that you have created, watching it as it grows. So again, making sure everything's all set in stone. Making sure everything is where it's supposed to be. Talk about brain fog tonight, and then letting it grow, protecting it, being mindful. And then I got the Six of Cups, And look at these ears. I love these ears. This is the hares.
Yes, the
Um,
hairs.
aren't they adorable? And
That's
there's going to
perfect.
be that nostalgia. The giving, receiving. It's beautiful. Yeah, is it going to be a beautiful energy moving forward? Of course, the reminder of making sure that you have everything that you need, and that you're not giving away too much, that you're holding on to what is important, but knowing that as you move forward, you're going to know what you can and cannot share. And I just want to see what he says about the hairs, because there's just I just love the animals. And this is an Allison made me do it deck, and a Ginger Fay made me do it deck.
I
But
wanted to, yeah.
I saw Allison using this so much, and it's about innocence. It's about nostalgia. And it says here, hares are very different from rabbits. The hare is intuitive and sensitive, while the rabbit is known to flee. Reflecting on memories of the past can be beautiful, but not every cup is standing. Not all times were good, and it is important to remember the lessons of the past when dealing with current circumstances. The rabbit runs from the past, but the hare jumps forward and lives in the present moment. I love that. So, again, it leads up to, with the other cards, making sure that with this motivation, making sure everything, I for personally, with all the energy with the retrogrades, I would just at the new moon start really writing down before jumping right into it, because with the new moon, making sure everything is all in place, that everything is well thought out, making sure you're supported financially to do it, whatever the project is, whether it's financial, spiritual, and then like the rabbits, the lessons of the past, learn, but don't be afraid to be in the present moment and live and leap forward. And the overall energy is the Five of Cups, which is about regret, grief, letting things go. So with this new moon, perfect time for that. Pour all your grief, sadness, any trauma work you're doing, any shadow work you're doing in new moon. Just give that all. Let that new moon just absorb all that. Give that away, and then just live and be present in the moment. So that's what I have.
I love that. I just had to like flip. There's a couple of hairs like in this deck too that I had to go like and pull up my Queen of Bows, which is interesting, right? Because that's the Queen of
Hmm.
Wands in this, is the hair.
Look at that face. You don't want to mess with that hair.
Right. But then there's two hairs, I think, fighting, which is like the Two of Stones or something earlier in this deck. But yeah, like I thought that was interesting to see the hair with the ones, right?
I love their big ears. And Audra says,
I do
grow with the
too.
crow. Yes, grow with the crow. Audra, you want to come join Karen and
I
I when we
love
do our
that.
Mystical Poet Society?
Sure, yeah. MPS.
Or she likes to call it. Actually, I was thinking
Maps.
about that today with the word maps. That's actually true, because when we write, we're kind of
Mm-hmm.
like mapping out in words and sounds our
Mm-hmm.
life, the map of our
Yeah.
life. So I like how you refer to
Yeah,
that.
like
Yes,
writing
it
like
makes
maps.
sense.
Yeah, like
Hmm.
it just I just keep seeing that in my or just like hearing that intuitively and just yeah, it is. It's a soul map.
I am a poet, she said, and I know it. So Audra, no
Oh wait.
pressure, but you got to join us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please do. Please
Yes,
do.
got to bring the poetry back. I miss that.
So I just created a astrology spread on the fly. I'm making this sound much better than it is, but
Hey, go with the
polarities.
flow.
Yeah, going with the flow here. Polarities. So I wanted to look what that you can learn from Pisces as a collective right now, because that's your opposite sign, and then to look at your sign right now and what you can improve or learn. Just I just wanted to see whatever comes out.
Hmm.
And I mean, I shuffled this deck well. Okay, I shuffled it very well. I've used this deck, both of these decks, lots of times. Okay, like this is not a new deck, either one of them for me. So, but I got uh, from my from my Oracle of the Radiant Sun, I got two Virgo cards, both sixth house. Okay, and then I got two
Ooh.
Wands cards almost side to side here. I got the two of those and the three of
Oh,
those. The three
very
of
cool.
those is what we're learning here from Pisces. You know, and Pisces is sort of like the expansion and everything. And with the three of those is fulfillment. And I'm really gonna connect these two ideas here because I said those words before: analysis paralysis.
Hmm.
And then we have here decision. And he's like,
Got
I
to
mean,
make a decision.
yeah, it's just like, I mean, I'm sure there's a really great story in this book, and I've got to like learn all of these stories because I mean that's the thing about this deck is there's a lot of great things to learn behind it, so you can build on it. But I mean, these flaming wands you're holding, literally says decision, and Virgo, you're planning and always, kind of like thinking, rebuilding. How can I do this better? How can I, blah, 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 blah. What method is better here? But this came out
Perfectionist.
above it. And the key word on here is isolation,
And
the sixth house. And this is Saturn in Virgo, isolation.
there's Saturn again.
You might be analysis paralysis here to the point,
Hmm.
where you're isolating yourself, like it's restricting here. Um, being in that house of Virgo, not only when you look at, work and everything like that, the boundaries that you could be setting on yourself, like make sure you're taking care of yourself, making
Hmm.
decisions to take
Self
care of
care.
yourself. But, there could be, a decision that you feel, restricted and you look at this person, they're just looking like, oh, like that
Drama.
isolation. Yeah, isolation and stuff. I mean, I think it's like getting past because on the bottom I had 12 the mirror, which is the hangman. You can hang there too long. But I mean, the mirror in here, she's holding literally the moon, which is, Pisces. Also, I mean, in the classic, we really think of Cancer as the moon too. But, especially in tarot, Pisces is the moon. And then the mirror, like taking that reflection. It looks, she's like some like mermaid creature. There's somebody like,
Almost like a
you know,
heron or a crane there
it
too.
almost looks like that's what like a burial,
Mm-hmm.
like when they put them out.
To
Yes,
see. Yep.
I have a blue heron that comes every times it rains on my pond here. Love it.
Aww.
But yeah, so I think it's like maybe taking too long to reflect. Taking too long to reflect, maybe to the point where, you can be isolating yourself or almost punishing yourself too much because that's kind of
Like
what
the
Saturn
hermit.
that's what Saturn does to us too, and intuitively I'm feeling because this three of wands with the Pisces, expanding out, fulfillment of a decision. You might have a big decision because Mars is doing some stuff too in Virgo that's pushing you, that's going to be pushing you harder to improve some part of yourself. So, and this has been already going on for about like 2 weeks. So just be aware of that, that you might feel some like that. What is it? That niggling that they say, the niggle,
Hmm. Yep.
that like
Listen. Feel.
little,
Yep.
yeah,
Pay attention to the niggle.
you're going to
Hmm.
feel it. And, I mean, and Mars can be a little feisty. There can be some confrontations and stuff, but it's a call to action to get you out of a two of those, into the three of those where the plans have been set. Oh, look in this too. funny. We were talking about the caduceus
Yep,
or
I
whatever.
was thinking that when you were holding it up, I'm like, yep, there's a caduceus.
Wow, right? That was some synchronicity. Now, for my, I love this Virgo.
Butterflies.
I love this one, and it's discrimination. Okay, I
Mm,
think what here is saying, and this isn't that's Venus with the plus sign. It doesn't have the horns. Yeah, Venus. I think that this could even be something, even in a relationship type, realm with
mm-hmm,
Venus. But also, Venus is, I'm like, I'm kind of getting this hint of like, self love and being not
mm-hmm.
so discriminatory to yourself and not being so
Yeah.
critical to yourself, to allow yourself to feel some fulfillment and maybe get out of the, that place, where Saturn is restricting your
Mm-hmm.
brain, where Saturn is restricting you to try to force you into making a decision, really, which kind of pushes you into
Yeah, like that page
isolation.
upside down. Be careful what decisions you make. Make sure that you're not
Yeah.
forced or,
Hmm.
pushed into doing something if you're not ready to do
Yeah.
it.
And then Mars is going to be pushing
Yeah.
Virgos harder right now, too. But it's for everything's for growth. So, be mindful of how discriminatory your inner voice is right now, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you know, I mean, there is a healthy discrimination of, others to preserve yourself, what's fair, but, being caught like in a non decisive point is not a healthy place to be. The hangman, you're not meant to be there forever. It's a period of, looking at something in a new way, but you're not meant to be there
Yeah.
forever.
Patience too.
All
Yeah.
the blood would rush to your head, literally, right?
Yes. I used to hang upside down on the monkey bars at school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa. And then you get down
So
and you're like, yeah.
so I just like I just kind of, I don't know, when that it just saw an interesting kind of message there. It's like, yeah, don't put yourself in the corner.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
Nobody
So
puts
don't put your
baby in the
corner.
corner. Yeah. It be kinder to yourself. And
Yes.
my last like cute little things here is I got this tiny little duck. Cats against
Against anxiety.
anxiety.
Oh my God, I need that. Yes, let's
I
see.
pulled this
Oh,
out during my Saturday reads, which I'm gonna bring this back hopefully like next Saturday. I've just had, life. Uh,
life happens.
right. So first off, there'll be like a little message in the back, like good vibes only. We've got our cute little gray kitty there. And on the
Aw.
back it says happy place. Picture your happy place. See, they're trying to tell you to be happier.
Don't
Picture your happy place in your mind. What do you see? What do you feel? What do you smell? Imagine it like a Pisces would, with as much detail as a Virgo would as possible. Oh my lord, they're merging the ideas here, right? Think
mm-hmm.
of these sensations whenever you feel overwhelmed.
And that's one of our visualizations for one of the groups I was in. It was to help, create a safe space. And it would be like, okay, what does it smell like? What do you
Mm-hmm.
see? What does it feel? What do you hear? And it makes you create
Mm-hmm.
the space
Yeah.
so that it helps bring the anxiety down, helps
Yeah.
you breathe, slow your breath, get calm, get centered. And whenever you have these moments, you know that you have your safe space where, boom, I can go right
Yes.
there and I'm at peace. So I love
That's
that.
a remote viewing technique too. Is like don't just say what you think you see the picture as. And I'm talking about like the military. It's like literally it's teaching remote viewers and stuff. It's
Mm-hmm.
fascinating. I went down a rabbit hole
Wow.
learning about this lately. Um, but yeah, they'll like, what do you smell? What do you feel? Like it's like, since are there people there? Is it outside? Is it whatever? Like you don't like literally just say what it is. And so I'm just sitting here. I'm like, what are they seeing? What are And I'm like, it's like a whole.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a little while to learn the way that they're doing it. and it's
Mhm.
fascinating to
It's
me
a
with this
it's a
trope.
great coping skill to help people who have
Yeah,
anxiety and
it
panic. It
really
really
is.
is.
I love that.
I
And
love.
on the bottom of the deck was, and I think this is so huge for Virgo, and this is where I was like talking about the self criticism here. And
Hmm.
Virgos are not usually, they're a lot of the times okay to not take the credit for something or to like, shine quietly in the background. Like, I know I contributed, but not everybody's going to see or know it. And I'm okay with that. Um, give yourself credit.
Oh.
It says take credit, reflect on the things that went well in your life this week. Give yourself credit for the role you
Hmm.
played. Keep this in mind and practice recognizing the responsibility you have in your successes. So, and that means in the success is to give yourself that credit.
Hmm.
You can be a little overly humble, but it's okay. Give yourself a well-deserved pat on the back
Bye,
and
Tom.
a bath and like a hot relaxing bath and a
That's what
glass
I
of
did
wine,
tonight.
whatever you need to
That's
do.
what I did.
Yes.
Dr. Teal's tuberose, foaming bath with essential oil. Oh, ladies, it's nice.
Oh,
Oh, it
thank
feels
y'all
good.
so much. I have
And
fun.
Tom says, I have to go. Thanks for an awesome show. I will email you, Karen. And I want to share something else with you before we end. Audra says, I have a book of quotes I've been working on. And she says, I would be super interested to do anything like that. So she told me to hit
Hey,
her up when we're ready. So, yay!
fun. I love that. I love that.
Love, love, love. And then Amanda says, I so miss the poetry Sunday shows too. So, yes.
Yeah.
And Tom says the same. And hopefully we can get Tom at some point to join us as well
Yeah.
and do his
We'll
writing.
bring the Scorpio out. It's hiding from the
Hmm.
writing. Yeah, we
And
know.
Audra says, I've been blowing up the
Just messing
Virgo
with you,
in me
Tom.
because of the dominant placements. I'm going to have to realize that I have way more of my Virgo showing themselves than I realized. You know, we just,
There's good
we are
and
who we
bad in
are.
each thing, and we just
Hmm.
learn how to
They're all
work with what
lessons.
we have the best
Hmm.
we can.
Exactly.
And
And where
yeah,
we're at with what we have.
absolutely. And Virgos can be fabulous writers, by the way. Like I think there's a whole list of Virgo writers, like Stephen King,
Ooh.
Agatha Christie. I mean, like famous writers. Leo Tolstoy, which does not surprise me because you look at the length of Anna Karen Karenina. I'm going to say that right in War and Peace.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
I've never
they're
read it,
epics.
but yeah.
So, yeah, very long epic. I never read War and Peace, but I did read yeah, Anna Karenina. That was like obviously can't even pronounce it. I read it, right?
Yeah, I
I
love to write. I consider myself a
was
writer,
an
but I'm really
Englishman.
not interested in reading other people's work. There's some authors that I really like that I'll go
Hmm.
to every now and then, but for me, it's just, you know, I there's no interest. But I do love. If anyone loves a good sci-fi, there is
Absolutely.
a book series called it's called the Walker Papers. Walker, Walker
Hmm.
Papers, and it's by C.E. Murphy, and it's based
My
on
goodness.
a woman who is, I believe she's half Cherokee, or was it okay, but she's half Native American and
Uh-huh.
she's half white. She's Celtic, and she gave up
Cool.
on. She walked away from the community because her original last name was Walking Stick, and so all these years later, she has it where Cernunnos, the hunter, you know, or her and one of them crosses over the veils, and he's a bad guy in the story, but comes through and starts attacking people in our,
I'm
and
already
she ends up
interested.
tapping into her, and she's actually got shamanic powers, and for her to help heal people because she's a mechanic, she goes in and sees where people need to be fixed like a car. I mean, I could go on. It's really fascinating. I haven't been able to read any of her books for a while because I've just been so distracted over the years with everything else. um but it's a fabulous series that she did.
I just got chills when you said like she's like a mechanic, like looking over people's bodies, knowing how to fix them.
Mm-hmm.
That was something I thought today was like Virgo is like if they're, the healing powers, because I didn't think it was totally fair to say like they help, but they can't heal. I think that Virgos like can be very good, like in the like especially like anything that physically, heals the body, like even like
We're all healers.
spirituality and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
all of that. And I thought body mechanic, and you were like saying like I'm like I just got these weird little chills. It reminded me to say that I was reading and studying about Virgos, the body
Yeah,
mechanic.
that's
And I thought that
that's
was
awesome.
cool. Yeah.
Little connections
Yeah.
there. And Beth had
Hmm.
joined us, and she says, "I'm a Virgo, and I was a journalist for years."
Absolutely. Mercury. Yeah.
I
Journalist.
see the Mercury in me because of the right. Yeah.
Yeah. Research
So
and attention to detail to get the facts right that you're putting out there. And probably can even edit your own stuff very well, but the editor didn't have much to do.
yeah.
Yeah. Fabulous.
So all righty. I've been doing laying hands on my horses for a while. So I wonder. So Audra, is this one of your horses in your avatar? Wow, I love it because it makes me think of a female Sag. She's on her horse, and she's
What
well,
was
she's
that book called again, real quick, though?
the well, it's a series called The Walker Papers. It's by
Okay. I'm writing it down
C.
right now.
E. Murphy.
Okay. Because
And the
I
last I
want to read it.
looked, I think there were four in the series because she does some others that did interest me, but that one is when I came across when I was living in New Hampshire briefly in 2008. And it was just like, oh, but now it's harder for me to stay focused as I'm getting older and stuff where I can't read for very long. So, but once things calm down next year when we get settled in our new place, I want to go and revisit because I want to get back into writing again. I've been inspired with our poetry. Um, I've been so grateful with, having worked with Jeff, having you working with Kaylee, having Ramon join us. It
Mm-hmm.
got me into writing my poetry again
Yes.
for, believing in my poetry and being supported and thanking everybody for that.
It
And
helped
now
me
I'm
start my
picking up
channel. Yeah.
regular creative writing now. I'm getting back into writing. I'm actually working on a book, and each chapter is going to be one has to do with one of the major arcana cards in sequence. It's a hefty project. It's an idea, but I'm working
Cool.
on it, and Ramon's been very supportive of me and Nancy. So at some point, I'm figuring out how I can start sharing that with everybody.
Yeah. I
Because
gotta
with
start.
me, I'm always
I
going
gotta
back and
finish
making
my
it
poems in my
perfect.
deck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
So
I started that
tap
project, but I
in.
didn't say it'd be done fast.
Tap into your creativity, everybody. We all have it. Avatar looks like Artemis. Yes, it does. Um, so, and Amanda's going to be getting her necklace from Jonathan soon. Yay!
Oh wow.
Yeah, Jonathan
Special. Yeah,
has
this
made her a necklace. Yep,
wow.
I can't wait to
Yeah.
see it. And
Oh,
I need
I
to have my poetry fix for sure. Me too. And Fatima, you were here too all the time this time still. Thank you, my dear. You have a blessed evening as well.
so kind. Such a good
Yeah,
heart.
I'm hoping so far I've gotten two thumbs up from Ramona and Nancy for me, sending them, the initial draft copy of chapter one. So and of course there's going to be some romance into it. I gotta have some romance in my stories. So
Yeah. Well,
um
you're more than welcome to share my way too, if you want to. I won't tell anybody.
it's just like, but with the Virgo, I understand about real sky astrology with me saying I'm a Virgo ascendant because I am that perfectionist. A lot of times
Hmm.
I've started at least four books in my lifetime, but never finished them because I couldn't
Wow.
stop going back and reworking them because they weren't perfect yet. They just weren't right. I couldn't get in by the time
Right.
the third or fourth rewrite. It was just like, oh my god, I'm sick of this, and I
Yeah, no, it is. It
walked
is like
away.
that. It is like that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I know it was a while ago. I was an English major, but if there's anything I could do to help you, like,
I could use an
yeah,
editor because I
yeah,
never know when to use
yeah,
certain punctuations. Like, am I supposed to put a semicolon here and then write? Does this require a,
sure.
I mean, and sometimes I'll know when I look at it, but then it's just like, that's why Word Hippo is so helpful
I mean, there's
because,
a lot of things I can catch, but I like there's be things that, like, an editor who does it every day, like they're gonna know something more than me. But yeah.
Oh, Beth, go get some rest. She hurt her back playing hopscotch with her granddaughter. Oh no. So go
Oh.
relax, relax.
Oh.
And yes, we need to schedule an
Mm-hmm.
art date. Yes, we do, Jonathan. If you saw what my space looks like right now, trying to pack and stuff, it would probably be me sitting right here with a tiny little sketchbook talking to y'all, not like I usually do with my art, but
Yeah.
yes. And I want us to invite is her name Brenda? Jonathan had a guest on. She's a local Hawaiian medicine woman.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I loved her energy.
Me too.
And
I
we were
loved
like,
her.
come join us.
I loved
So,
her. Yeah.
me too. So,
All
alrighty,
right.
everybody. Well, I'm going to be jotting this all down and working on this during my little sabbatical. So, Kara, what do you have coming up, my dear? Anything?
Um, I think I'm gonna like just pop up my channel tomorrow, randomly, because that's kind of just how I've had to do lately with kids.
Go
I
with the
have some
flow.
decks that I need to show, or readings, whatever. You might just randomly see me, and I'm probably gonna be reaching out to some people, um, since gonna have like a little bit of free time in my hands that try to at least start my channel right now and do some fun stuff.
Yeah.
Get
Get
some
things
stuff
off your
going.
mind, redirect that
Yeah,
energy into
yeah,
something creative and positive.
exactly. So, and
Exactly.
I mean, if there's anybody, feel free to reach out to me too. But yeah, like I'm probably gonna be, stirring the pot to do some fun stuff together because I
During
love
that cauldron, a
collaborating.
little bit of this,
I
a little
I
bit of that.
love collaborations. It's like I like doing my pop-ups and stuff, and the chat's like awesome and everything. But it's kind of weird where you're the only person talking for like the time too, and then you're like imagining people like answering you back and stuff, but you
Yeah.
can't hear their voices. It's kind of weird.
There are sometimes when I'm in a mood, I just want to be me alone. And then there are
Hmm.
times where it's like, oh, Nancy, what are you doing? Or, like when I
Yeah,
was reading with Tangi, I'd be like, you free girl. Certain people, I'd just be like, anybody? Because it's
yeah,
just like
right.
I don't want to really do this alone. And I wanted to recorded videos and upload them, but me talking to myself, and if I, oh shoot, I don't have the ability to hit pause without, I would have to go and start all over again. And if I've already been talking 10, 15 minutes, I'm like,
The
oh,
idea of the editing and all that stuff, I've just
I
been doing
can't.
live lately because I'm like, that's the perfectionist side of me. That's where this Virgo planet's coming through.
Okay, so Brenda is from Costa Rica,
Oh,
Nicaragua,
nice.
via the mainland, but her husband is Hawaiian. Thank you, Jonathan. I came in a little bit later. I can so,
She's
but yeah,
fabulous.
she's beautiful. I love her energy. She was a really nice lady. So
I
I
really
would
like what
love.
y'all read for me too. As I was telling them about something that happened to me, like I was having this, and I posted the meditation that I did in my community tab. Very simple meditation, very humble meditation from a paranormal medium man. And what happened during it was that I had this intense burning sensation that came in my hand, like after I asked,
Oh,
for my guides, and they're like, you guides, God, whoever you call to, to I am open to receive psychic impressions. And I said that. And literally I felt this burning in my hand to where I really like had to look later to see if I had a mark, um, or something bit me like that would sting like a fire ant. I was like, I didn't know what
so you would think
happened.
you would feel it here, like around the third eye, but you felt it on your
I
hand.
had it like very, and he said, because I made a comment on his thing, because it was like I had to. And I commented to him about it, and he's like, that sounds very visceral. But what after that happened, it was like I saw a volcano, like in my mind's eye, like when my eyes were closed. And I was like, okay, all right, volcanoes are hot. I mean, I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
Hele. I'm talking
And
Hele.
the next day, like Jeff was talking about because he's like sees a lot of earthquakes in his cards or whatever.
Mhm.
Sometimes, like, there's been kind of a trend with that, and after a while, he's like, "Ah, not another earthquake." He's like, "I should probably stop talking about them." What am I gonna do about it? And I was really kind of like, "Crap, I need to look at the news." And so I
Mhm.
looked at the news, and this was where it gets even freakier, deakier. Let's put it, is that an earthquake triggered a volcano to go off in Russia
Oh,
when I was
really?
feeling that. And I was just like,
There you go.
okay.
You asked and you're receiving.
And then it reminded me, and I feel like that was really confirmation that, keep doing this. Like, you're stop doubting or telling yourself that, you don't have the ability to open up, gifts, or that other people, you know what I mean? Like, the things that we
Hmm.
tell ourselves that
Yeah.
we're not good
The
enough,
stinking thinking.
Yeah. So I'm really like expanding and trusting, and not trying to put any expectations on anything. I'm on a journey. I'm like a little bit of
We
a
all are.
hermit right now, on a
Same here.
meditating journey. I got a lot of it.
We
So
all need that.
yeah,
Again,
but
self
they gave
care.
me some great insight, and yeah, I really liked her energy. I liked her a lot.
Wonderful.
So
Well, Jonathan brings on, the good feels, the people with the good energy, the
definitely.
good feels. And yeah, I
Oh,
like Betsy
thank y'all
Palmer
so
too.
much.
Yes.
Yes.
And everyone, make sure please to subscribe to Karen if you haven't
Thank
already.
you.
Her
Yes,
link
thank
is
you.
channel is in the below, and I'll be back on Monday with Jonathan and Nancy, and then that'll be a 2 week hiatus. So thank
I
you,
will be there.
everybody, and everybody have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy. Keep
Thank
your
you.
eye out for Karen because she goes live tomorrow, and we'll talk to you everybody later. Thank you again. Have a
Bye.
good
Thank
night.
you. Mwah.
Bye.